A man killed at the end of his workday, leaving a community searching for safety as detectives search for suspects. A deadly explosion in Southern California now leading to a federal investigation. The FBI now saying this was an act of terrorism. World leaders come together to ring in the reign of Pope Leo XIV. What the new leader of the Catholic Church had to say in his inaugural Mass. Well, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. I'm Devin Truby.
Checking in on our weather impact alert as we wrap up the weekend, head into the new work week. We've got our weather impact alert through Monday. Fire danger and gusty dry winds. Be ready to evacuate with your go bag. We are pivoting from the rainy season into the dry season. Red flag warning in effect until Monday at 8 p.m. as we continue to track those gusty, dry winds. Now, there's not much going on throughout the state, but just off to the east of us, we've had a couple of low pressure systems moving just off to our east. In opposition, we've got that high pressure ridge building in. So it's in between those two active weather situations that we get the gusty winds, and that continues through our Monday. You'll notice I've got the fire and heat timeline, because right after this, low elevation fire danger. On Tuesday, lighter winds, but becoming warmer. In fact, the peak warmth of the week will hit on Wednesday with a moderate heat risk in play. Here's a look at how things are shaping up heading into our Sunday evening and then again for early Monday. As those lows start to move their way east, we're just under that ridge of high pressure, sinking, warming air, and again, higher heat risk. So our future wind gusts, as you can see, stay with us right through our early Monday. Quite a breezy start to the day, but they'll back off during the early evening and we'll be out of that higher risk zone. But it's that in combination with these low humidities that will stay in place again through our early Monday and the Monday afternoon. Forecast for our future humidity only about 15 to 20%. Very dry air with us. Our temperature trend kind of setting the stage for the low elevation fuels like fine grasses to dry out quickly. We've seen just little peaks of heat coming in, and we'll get a lot more of that coming into play by our Wednesday forecast. By the time we get into our Friday and edging towards that holiday weekend, things are cooling off ever so slightly, but we've got the heat in play through much of our work week with that weather impact alert. Haven't quite hit that 95-degree mark yet. We're kind of tracking that, and right after that, we get into near 100-degree heat for our forecast. So again, our 3-day outlook, we've got our weather impact alert in place for our Monday. By the time we get to the middle of the week, we hit that peak warmth, and then we gear up for the 3-day holiday weekend.
The trial of former Major League pitcher Daniel Serafini is expected to start tomorrow in a Placer County courtroom. He's accused of shooting his wife's parents during a Lake Tahoe burglary in 2021. The victims were identified as Robert Spoor and Wendy Wood. Spoor died and Wood survived the shooting, but family says that she later took her own life in 2023. Jury selection wrapped up this past week. Tomorrow, we're expecting to hear opening statements. Well, the search is on this morning for two masked men accused of fatally shooting a 60-year-old street vendor during a Friday night robbery. ABC 10's Gabriel Porras spoke with the son of the street vendor, who says his dad was just finishing a day of work when the shooting happened.
A 60-year-old man just trying to make a living.
It was an operating vendor.
Killed Friday night near California and 3rd Street.
Two possibly male suspects had went to that area and confronted that 60-year-old victim who was in that area, and an altercation ensued where then those suspects shot that victim and then fled the area. The motive of a potential robbery is what detectives are kind of looking at.
Investigators believe the suspected masked murderers got away with property.
And they fled in that white sedan vehicle in an unknown direction. Those neighbors, they want answers. And our detectives want those answers too.
Neighbors like Enrique Moreno.
Everybody right here, my neighbors, is very nice people.
Especially the man who died, Moreno describing him as kind and well known in the neighborhood.
Ya no puedes salir a caminar.
Now he says he no longer feels safe to walk.
Our neighborhood impact team will be going out to that area, touching base with those residents, providing them resources, some safety tips. We want to work together with those community members Any information that they have could be crucial to the investigation.
In Stockton, Gabriel Porras, ABC 10.
Anyone with information is urged to contact Stockton Police or Stockton Crime Stoppers at 209-946-0600. Information reported to Stockton Crime Stoppers can be made anonymously and eligible for a cash reward of up to $10,000. The FAA is continuing their investigation into a small plane crash in Yuba County. It happened just before 10:30 yesterday morning near the Yuba County Airport in Olivehurst. The sheriff's office says a private aircraft did an emergency landing in an agricultural area nearby. They say while the aircraft didn't hit anything on the ground, well, it was significantly damaged while landing. 2 people inside the plane were taken to the hospital with injuries ranging from minor to moderate. No word yet on what caused the emergency landing. And now to some shocking video. Take a look at this, showing the dramatic collision between a Mexican sailing ship and the Brooklyn Bridge. You can see it hit and the mast start to crumble there. This happened yesterday evening after the ship allegedly lost power, leading to the mast to strike the bridge. In a statement, Mayor Eric Adams said, in part, quote, of the 277 on board, 19 sustained injuries, 2 of which remain in critical condition and 2 more have passed away from their injuries. The bridge itself did not suffer major damage. Investigators are now working to determine how this happened. A Southern California community in shock today following a deadly car explosion at a Palm Springs fertility clinic. You're looking at the aftermath. The blast killed 1 person, injuring 5 others. The FBI is now investigating and are now labeling this a terrorist incident.
Make no mistake, this is an intentional act of terrorism.
We have a rapidly evolving investigation with a massive crime scene. There are blocks of debris, and it'll take a meticulous effort to make sure that we get every piece of evidence so we understand very thoroughly what happened.
Governor Newsom says the state is also assisting with the response. Last night, a grieving mother and father took action after losing their son to fentanyl poisoning. They held a community event at a local park, handing out Narcan and fentanyl test strips, hoping to save others from the same tragedy. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias has the story.
1, 2, 3. We need to do more. We need to all come together as people and just really fight this battle.
Stephanie Boatwright was struck with grief 2 years ago after losing her son, Isaiah Boatwright, to a fentanyl poisoning on May 29th. The mother remembers her son for being the light of the room.
I just want people to know that my son did not want to die. My son has no second chance. Like he was an amazing kid. Like he was just beautiful, his soul, everything.
Shortly following his passing, she says she converted her grief into action, creating the Isaiah Michael Foundation. In his honor this Saturday, the 2nd annual May for Zay Fentanyl Awareness event was held at Sealy Park in Sacramento. Cliff Valencia is Isaiah's father.
In our organization, what we do is we do outreach work. So we do work with the unhoused communities and those families in need. So we provide Narcan, fentanyl test strips, and then we provide hygiene packs, blankets, clothing for the unhoused community.
Joined by other parents, both Stephanie and Cliff say the goal is to educate the public about the crisis killing hundreds of loved ones. The organization, Stop Drug Homicide, was also at the event in a show of support. They're behind Alexander's Law, which aims to make sure drug dealers are held accountable for killing people with illicit drugs and poisonous fentanyl.
Having lost children, I can come out and support moms that are grieving and help them through that process. Have them to understand that their child life mattered no matter what, and that there is an answer. If there's enough evidence, we will help you to seek justice.
Stephanie says their efforts are trying to save one life at a time.
I can't control the government level and the higher up level, but what I can do is spread it to my community and make a difference in my own community. And that's what I intend to do, and that's what I get up and I fight for every single day.
In Sacramento, Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
The foundation says you can reach out to them if you or anyone you know is struggling with drug use and needs help with resources, or if you're struggling with food insecurity. We have a link to their foundation on our website, abc10.com. Let's go ahead and take a look now over Vatican City, where earlier this morning, Pope Leo XIV completed his inaugural Mass. You can see all the chairs out in the square. The Mass officially installed Pope Leo as a leader of the Catholic Church and was attended by U.S. leaders such as Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Here's ABC's Nicole D'Antonio with more.
This morning, excitement building for Pope Leo XIV as crowds gather in St. Peter's Square for the inaugural Mass of the first American Pope.
Brothers and sisters, on this day made by the Lord, we renew the memory of our baptism. Through the sign of this water,
Pope Leo addressing the crowd with a heart full of gratitude, sharing a message focused on love and unity.
And now, with fear and trembling, I come to you as a brother who desires to be the servant of your faith and your joy, walking with you on the path of God's love. For He wants us all to be united in one family.
Pope Leo starting the ceremony by riding through the crowds in the Pope-mobile for the first time, waving to families and pausing several times to bless young children in the crowd. The seats filling up nearly 3 hours before the start of the inauguration Mass. Officials expect nearly 250,000 people to attend Sunday's Mass and more than 150 delegations from all over the world, including Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio alongside their families. Worshippers from the United States eager for a chance to witness the first American Pope.
I would say all of the Americans are emotional about it. Having an American Pope is not something we ever thought would happen.
Pope Leo was elected the 267th pontiff on May 8th. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Ukraine's President Zelensky was also in attendance. We're told that he and Pope Leo met for a private discussion following the Mass. And thank you so much for watching. Our next live newscast is at 11. Remember that you can watch us any day, anytime on your schedule by downloading the free ABC 10 Plus streaming app to your TV.